Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody sweat the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as
Hello, Bonjour Sanbonani. Welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. My name is Dr. Riel Nkunene, and I'm gonna be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in the chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to achieve from our podcast. Today, we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's gonna share some nuggets on human rights. So in Utah, we have John Kovac Jr. And in Oklahoma, we have Jessica Rose Johnson. And I believe in Orange County, if I'm not mistaken, we have Joe Nicasio. So at this moment, I'll just let our speakers to introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, John.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Riel. I am so excited for this. My name is John Kovac Jr. I'm an international motivational speaker. I'm a 7-time #1 best-selling author. I'm involved in so many other things, but one of my passions is helping people become unstuck through the power and the methodology of something called a mastermind. And I'll tell you a little bit of my story in a little bit now. I just want to share more about myself because that's what you asked me to do. But would you like me to continue on with the discussion and topic, or would you like me to talk more about myself?
You know, for now, we've had it all. So we're gonna move to the next speaker, and then you're gonna come back and share.
Perfect.
I know you are so ready. You are so pumped, so ready to face the world and share some nuggets. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead with Jessica Rose. You can go ahead and introduce yourself, Jessica.
Good morning. Good morning. I too am so excited to be here and be amongst other amazing people doing amazing work in the world. I am here in the great state of OK. I have a pretty household full. I am married. I have a stepson, 2 dogs, and a cat. And I actually work in mental health. So I've been in behavioral health for about 8 years now. I found myself accidentally in suicide and overdose prevention, but I absolutely love it. I love getting to talk to people and share all the research and all the experiences that I've learned along the way. So happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Wow, it's such a great honor to have you, Jessica Rose, and I'm looking forward to hear you speak. You can go ahead, Joe, and introduce yourself, sir.
Well, I'm Joe Nicasio. I've been in Orange County, but I'm a little bit of a digital nomad. I'm in Arlington, Texas right now.
Oh.
I'm all over the place, but I am an entrepreneur maker, and I'm grateful to be surrounded by greatness today. I help business people go from I help business people who are frustrated because their business isn't growing fast enough. I help them build a better business so that they can, and like my diagram says here, do what you love, share the love, receive the love. It's about creating you don't want to just make money. We all want to make money, but you want to have a happiness-centered business where you wake up every day and you look forward to your day instead of saying, I hate going to that soul-sucking job. So I'm a stand for self-reliance through entrepreneurship. And if you're going to build a business, you might as well enjoy it.
Oh, wow. Wow. It's such a great honor to have you, Joe, with us. And I'm looking forward to hear you speak because I believe you were born ready. You are ready to share some nuggets. So thank you so much for being with us here today. So here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, I always say that we have a disclaimer because when you talk about human rights, it's kind of a very, very sensitive subject that you can cover. So here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, we're only here to provide information about human rights to the public. So legal information is not the same as legal advice as to the application of law to an individual specific circumstances. So we cannot offer any legal advice in response to specific questions. So we strongly recommend that you consult a lawyer if you need such help. So John, I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, I can see your billboard coming down there, or maybe it's already there in Utah. What will your billboard say?
Thank you for asking that. My billboard wouldn't be about me. It would be about the reader. And I would just empower them with a message and a reminder that anything is within reach and anything can be reached through the power within. And I think that that's just a reminder to all. If I saw that and I was driving down the highway and I saw that billboard, it would probably cause me to think. It would probably cause me to wonder. It would probably cause me to, and I've never picked up the phone from a phone number on a billboard, but that would probably be the one thing that I'd say, you know what? That makes me curious.
Wow, wow, I love that. Anything is within reach. I love it. I love it. I love it. How about you, Jessica Rose? What will your billboard say? Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's already there. What will it say?
I think a billboard isn't big enough for all the words that I want to say all the time. Um, I say this, and my husband says it's super cheesy, but I truly believe it that we are the change every day, and to just remind people to be human. So as simple as that is, just really putting it out there that every day, everything we do, we are the change in this world, and we just need to be human to each other. So cliche, but I truly believe it in my soul.
I always believe that the change that I want to see in this world must first begin with me. So we are indeed the change, Jessica, and I love it. I love it. How about you, Joe? What will your billboard say?
Well, I need two billboards. The first one would be focused at the man, and it would have my logo for employee escape plan. It would say, "Stop working for the man, be the man." And for the women, it would say, "Attention women," or "Attention ladies, stop working for the boss, be the boss."
Be the boss. Wow, I love it. I love it. Actually, I love all of the billboards. So I think mine can be the fourth billboard driving down the highway, and it's gonna say what? The sky is no longer the limit. The sky is your point of view. So rise to greater heights. And you know what? It's coming. It's coming. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna start with John. Let me grab your bio here, John. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start with John. John Kovac Jr. is an award-winning and international motivational speaker and global mastermind leader. John has helped thousands of professionals overcome their challenges and achieve their goals through his irrefutable laws of high performance. John is the founder of Champion Circle Networking Association. He is also a 7 times national #1 best-selling author. Wow, wow. John is the mastermind team leader and a facilitator for the Habitude Warrior Mastermind and the Global Speakers Mastermind and Masterclass. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome John Kovac Jr.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rial. I want to start off today by sharing a quick story, and I call this my triple hot fudge caramel sundae story. And the reason why I call it that, well, you'll find out at the end, is the reward at the end of the tunnel. Now, this just isn't any tunnel. This is a physical tunnel that's 100 feet below the Earth's surface. It's called a wormhole. A wormhole is a lava tube. It's something that was created by the Earth, And it's something that only crazy people, like actual crazy people who want to spelunk into the ground, who want to crawl on their hands and knees, they want to wear head caps with light bulbs on them, and they want to actually they want to travel through and explore the depths of the earth. And that is something that I was into a long time ago. I was leading a group or an expedition through one of these caves in South Dakota, where I was going on my hands and knees, and we get to this place called the wormhole. A wormhole is a tube that people can pass through, and it's usually only big enough if a human being will put one arm forward, one arm back, change their posture, and literally wiggle through the hole like a worm. It is a interesting experience nonetheless. Well, as the leader of this expedition, I am the first to go. I am wiggling through this wormhole, and on my way, I do the one thing that nobody wants to do when they're in a cave, and that is get stuck. There was a rock, it was pinning into my hip. I couldn't reach back and change it because I only had one arm available. There was just so much going on. And I not only pinned my hips, but pinned my shoulders, and I was stuck, and it just gets worse and worse. It was dark. I couldn't see in front of me. The sand and the powder and everything from the earth was just billowing up in my face, and I was getting in my mouth, my teeth. There was just so much happening. And I recognized that this was a really dire situation because, number one, I was the first to go, which means there's people behind me in this tube. Number two is that if I don't get out, we don't get out. We are stuck. And the number three was when people go into caves, they are aware of, or they recognize that there are other things that live in caves too. Most people recognize those as, bats. Bats live in caves. And while I'm stuck in this position, trying to figure out how to get through this wormhole, I could see through the crevice of the crack in front of my face, just beyond reach, a family of bats just hanging out, chilling, staring me in the face. So there were some motivating factors for me to get out of this situation. I wasn't going to end up like, if you guys ever seen that movie, The Emperor's New Groove, and he falls down that mountainside, his mouth gets wedged into a cliff, and then he gets filled with a family of bats that totally send him into the abyss. I was not going to be me. So physically, I needed to get out of there. Mentally, I could not stand another second in the physical pain that I was in. And honestly, my belief, a spiritual side to this was I really needed to move on because everyone was relying on me to get through this. I found some gravity and I found some movement. My feet could wiggle a little bit. And as I put my feet into the ground, I realized that I could get a little bit of a push off. And so what happened to me is I started pushing with every little inch, every little foot that I could put in there. And little by little, I was able to overcome this one spot, get over another spot where I was stuck again, and finally wiggle myself through this wormhole. And as I get out of the wormhole, as I have this victorious moment, I'm like, yes, we're through, I'm through. I realize, oh no, if I got stuck, I bet my team is stuck. Turn around, take the time, guide them through. And that was the expedition. As we're walking through everybody, this experience, everyone got stuck where I got stuck. But the magic was, not only was I the only one who went through it first, but as soon as I guided one or two people through it, they started pitching in. They started turning around and helping them, other people. It was like dominoes that we were so enthusiastic and excited to help one another. The reason why I share this story is, number one, is there are so many things to getting unstuck, but I want to name three things that are very, very powerful and important in this process. Number one is when you are stuck, when you are feeling some sort of depression or some sort of experience that's bringing you down, all right, you need to just accept the fact that that's where you're at now. A lot of people will think, man, I got to put this in the future. When I'm not in this job, when I'm not taking these medications, or when I'm not making this money, or when I'm not in this situation, I'll be happier. But there's so much fallacy to that. You need to learn to accept where you're at and build from where you're at. And there's something that I can do to help you with that. Number two is that you need to be able to ask for help. When I'm in that hole, when I'm stuck, I'm like, oh goodness, I don't know what I'm going to do. How am I going to do this? What's my next step? I start calling for help. Hey, the guy behind me says, try putting your feet down. That's what got me unstuck. And the third thing is you got to have a different mindset. Mindset isn't just mental. People say mindset and it's always in the mind, but the mindset is mental, it's chemical, it creates balances and imbalances, and it's physical. Now, chemical and physical, same thing, right? But no, there's something that you can experience as a result of a different mindset. I am a big proponent of awareness, changing your environment, and creating a new physical experience in exchange. These are the three principles that I've learned in getting unstuck in a cave. Now, what does this have to do with you? Depression or any other circumstance that's getting you down. I truly believe that you can use any aspect of any life and any story and anything that you're going through, and you can use them to overcome it. I've seen this in Real shared that I have I coined a phrase called the irrefutable laws of high performance. They're based on the 4 major accountability principles, and I've used these to change and share and coach and mentor over thousands of professionals worldwide, getting unstuck out of their own habits and into new habits that create success for themselves. I love this. The other reason why I call this my triple hot fudge caramel sundae story is because when we got out of that cave, finally, the first thing that I wanted, the one thing that I appreciated most, the one thing that realized, man, this is humanity, is I needed to go to a ice cream parlor nearby and find a triple hot fudge caramel sundae so that I could enjoy and be grateful for the experience that I had. And again, this just goes back to all of those principles. It really has to start within. If you accept and you build, you will find an awareness that creates absolute encouragement and an acceptance and ownership level of realization. Number 2 is you got to ask for help, whether it's physical, whether it's clinical, whether it's chemical, it doesn't matter. You need to find a way to put yourself in with people who will create that success for you to help you get unstuck. And then the last thing is your mindset. Mindset isn't just inside. It's a physical experience. It creates outcomes. If it's not creating outcomes or experiences, it's just a thought, not a mindset. A mindset is an attitude, and you can use that to create, remove, and even exchange your environments and where you're at. To wrap this up, I just want to say that how important it is that you really do experience the full overcoming of getting unstuck, which means you really need to be able to recognize that there's more than one solution, there's more than one process. And without overwhelming yourself, it's time that you get unstuck. It's time that you focus on the right things, the proper things, the things that will get you there. And typically that doesn't happen by being alone. You've got to surround yourself with the right people. I teach on mastermind principles. It comes from a book that some of you are probably aware of, some of you probably aren't. But this is a beautiful book called The Think and Grow Rich, written in 1937 by a man named Napoleon Hill. And in this book, it's not about getting rich. It's about thinking a different way. It's about growing with that mindset. And I've learned through this book that was written almost 100 years ago, this book taught me that really everything can be determined through the power of an attitude and a mindset, and what you think is what you do, and what you do can help you grow. I believe that wholeheartedly. I teach these principles. I travel the world to give them to as many people as I can. And I've seen the transformation in so many people, literally and unliterally, if that's a word. I have seen people get unstuck from their own wormholes, their own caves, and they have changed their entire physical well-being because of the way they think. And that's exactly what I think people need. And that's why I'm on this journey of sharing the mastermind methods and processes, helping people become achievers through these methodologies. I am John Kowach Jr. I'll take questions, and I love to share a few things, but I wanted to share that if you guys want to connect with me, if you want to know how to connect with me, if you want to learn how to get unstuck, or if you even want just an invitation to an environment that will help you be aware, to change your aspect and your awareness and your mindset on all these things, the one thing you can do is you can go to ridealongguestpass.com. It's a free guest pass to any one of my upcoming masterminds, where we bring people in, we share with them how to overcome their challenges, we delve into their challenges, and we give them solutions so that they can take accelerated action. The other thing too is, if you have questions, I'm extremely reachable. I'm omnipresent on every channel, but if you send me a DM on Instagram, Facebook, or even LinkedIn, I will always answer back. I will always find a way to communicate and connect with you. Those are the fastest ways to reach me, and I'm always looking forward to answering questions, giving you resources, maybe making you smile. And you know what? If we're in town together, let's go share a triple hot fudge caramel sundae together. That's it. Thank you.
Wow, John, just drop the mic, just drop it. You've shared more nuggets on how to getting unstuck. So when you started with the wormhole, I'm like, okay, where are we going here? Like, I'm getting this confusion. And then all of a sudden I understand we'll have to get unstuck. We'll have to accept the situation that we're in right now and start building from where we are. Wow, John, what a profound message on overcoming depression, on overcoming any circumstance that we might be facing through. You mentioned that it's all about the mindset. Like I always say, that it's all about the mindset. You've mentioned that we'll have to have a different mindset. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. It's all up here. And you've also mentioned that you'll have to ask for help and surround yourself with positive people. I can't just go over all the notes I've been taking, but thank you so much, John, for sharing such a profound, much needed message. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Now we are going to Jessica Rose Johnson. Jessica Rose is the lead of Oklahoma City's Mayor's Veteran Support Coalition, which formed from the Mayor's Challenge to End Military or Veteran Suicide. She is an active member of the I'll say okay. She mentioned that it's okay. She's an active member of the OK Veteran Family Wellness Alliance, which is a group of professionals sharing resources with each other to ensure each organization is more equipped and referring someone to a service best suited for them. She is also serving on the OK Governors Challenge team to end military or veteran suicide. She has been recently appointed to the Oklahoma City's Human Rights Commission Task Force as an outspoken advocate for all humans. She is a Living Work certified instructor for ASSIST, which is applied suicide prevention skills training and safe talk. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Jessica Rose Johnson.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and speak with you today. I think a lot of the times there's so many myths and misconceptions when it comes to suicide and when it comes to overdose. So one of the things that I love to start with is really getting people the chance to think about what suicide is, because that alone is a huge misconception. I like to think suicide is like the black box of life, right? We have all these everyday life stressors that box us in and box us in and box us in. And the more we get overwhelmed and the more things pile up and the more things stress us out, that thing like a puzzle box, those pieces just get closer and closer and closer until you're locked in and you can't see the light anymore. You're so overwhelmed, you're in so much emotional pain that you would rather be dead than alive. And that alone leads to one thing that is a huge misconception with suicide is people often ask, are you thinking about hurting yourself? But that's really not the case, because most people who have thoughts of suicide or planning suicide, they're in so much pain, so much emotional pain. Maybe some of that box is physical pain, that they would want to end the pain. So when you ask someone, are you thinking about hurting yourself? That's really not the best question to ask. Asking directly and saying, are you thinking of suicide? Right? Another misconception I have that I get all the time from people is, oh, if I say suicide, it's going to put the idea in their head. Well, in the age of internet, there's a bajillion ideas out there. And I guarantee if I told you all to give me your winning lottery ticket now, you wouldn't think twice, and you definitely wouldn't be giving it to me now, would you? So that's one thing when we ask about suicide, we're asking directly and we're not putting the thought in their head. The other thing, when you ask directly about suicide, if you were the one to say the S word, right, the big scary S word, you're taking that pressure off that person. You're making it an okay topic for them to be able to say yes, if yes is the case for them. I've personally been in an experience where life was boxing in and I was super stressed out and I was venting to a colleague. And to this day, I feel a little guilty about this, but I could tell my colleague was really worried about some of the things going on in my life. And I could tell he really wanted to ask me. So I didn't let him off the hook. I just kept going and venting about how, yes, my life was overwhelming. Yes, I had all these things kind of boxing me in at that moment. And finally I could tell he got the courage and he said, do we need to talk about suicide? I got really excited, which definitely threw him off. But I was excited because he had the courage to ask a question that's scary. But if it's scary for you to ask the question, think how scary it is to be that person who's in the mindset that you're so overwhelmed and you're in so much pain, you would rather choose death over life. That's what's really scary. So I encourage you, don't be afraid to ask directly. And if you ask, remember to ask directly about suicide. Another common misconception about suicide that I hear a lot is, oh, they're just seeking attention. They're just crying for attention. Well, that kind of is the case, isn't it? When I did a mortality review over all the suicides that we lost in the Oklahoma Army National Guard, there was one thing really connecting all of them, and it was loss of or fear of loss of a significant relationship. So as human beings, we are meant to be tribal. We're meant to be around each other. So if you're feeling alone and you're not feeling heard, those basic core needs of a human aren't being met. Yes, you need the attention. Yes, you need the love. So when people say crying for attention, they always say it in a negative manner, like, oh, they just want attention. But they're crying out because they're not getting that core need met in their life. So I want you to think of that a different way, is that if somebody is thinking about suicide, there's a lot going on in their life, and maybe they have tried to speak up about it, and maybe people aren't hearing. Which leads me to one of my biggest points that I want you to take away, if anything, is to validate, don't relate. What happens is we spend so much time wanting to relate to each other, right? Oh, I know. Let me tell you an equal story that's just as shitty, right? Oh, now we're bonding because we're relating on the stuff that's going on in our life that's really crappy. But oftentimes what happens is we're not actually bonding when we relate on that level. We can bond on a deeper bond and connect with people if we're validating that pain. That was something I learned personally through my childhood growing up, but something I also learned while doing interventions. So I am research backed. I'm not a clinician, but I do teach clinicians how to do suicide interventions and first responders. So I can definitely do it, and I've done it a million times. And the one intervention that I learned the most from was somebody who told me, to this day, the worst story I had ever heard, what was going on in their black box of darkness. And I thought to myself, whoa, I can't think of any hope right now for this guy. This is a really, really dark box to be in. Where's the light that I can give him? So I sat for a second and I simply said to him, man, that really sucks. And instantly the man lit up and he said, yes, it does. And I was a little confused at the moment, like, why are you so excited that I agree that your life sucked? But I realized in that moment, I validated that pain. I validated those experiences that he had. I didn't have to relate and find some way to say, oh, I've had a similar experience. that, oh, I understand. No, I just validated the pain that he was in. And that simply can save a life and change the course of time. Another thing that I want to leave you with as well is having initiative is not being intrusive. This is something I've been learning a lot over the past year with experiences going on in my family, is that oftentimes we put up these shields and these barriers and we say, well, I don't want to be intrusive. I don't want to overstep my bounds. My favorite line that I get is, let me know if you need anything. Call me if there's anything I can do. We all do that, right? That's a natural response because we're so afraid to be intrusive. We don't want to step on their toes. But when you have somebody who is overwhelmed, who is maxed out, life is caving in on them, do you think they have the energy or time to pick up the phone and call you and think of what you can do for them? No. So if you are feeling like saying that to someone, like, let me know if you need anything, that probably means they need something. So just do. Just do. It's not intrusive. I have a lovely friend's husband come over every other weekend to mow, and he simply says, is Saturday or Sunday this weekend best for you? It's a simple choice that I have to make, and I don't have to think to pick up the phone and who can I call to help me with this? So when it comes to that black box, every day, like I said earlier, we are human beings. We're the ones that can crack the light and open it up by simply validating and taking some initiative to be human. That's what I want to leave you with today, is remember that we are all going through something every day. We all have our battles. We all have our fights when we wake up in the morning, and we don't see each other's battles. We don't see what's labeled on those puzzle pieces boxing us in, but we all have those. So if we can stay open-minded and be human to each other, we can keep bringing light into others' boxes.
Oh my, Jessica. Wow, you've shared, like you've dropped that bomb, like really on suicide prevention. I can see, let me just read. I saw one of the audience out there, she just posted that as her name is Matwala Knox. She is saying, as a suicidal person, I really needed this. Thank you, amen. So Matwala, I will encourage that you reach out to Jessica. She's going to share how you're going to be able to reach out to her, because you need her. Like she mentioned, Jessica Rose. I know your name is long.
It's long. It's fine.
You mentioned that we all go through a lot. We all go through a lot, more especially like throughout the whole pandemic. I've been exposed to many individuals who are undergoing different situations. So we need each other. But at the same time, as a human being, you'll be like, oh, I'm so intrusive to this person, like you've mentioned. It's high time good people will go out there and we become the voice, and we have listening ears, because we've been created with 2 ears and 1 mouth. It means that we have ears to listen to a person's situation or whatsoever that person is going through, the black box of suicide. Thank you so much, Jessica, for sharing such a profound message. Truly speaking, you are one person who leave your audience inspired about changing their minds on thinking of suicide and be like, I have a life to live. So thank you so much, Jessica Rose, for your message. Thank you. So now we're gonna, good people, our audience out there, if you have any questions to John, to Jessica Rose, please feel free to post your questions down below in the chat box, and then we're gonna attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. And if you haven't shared this video, go ahead and share with many individuals in your network, because you may never know, you're gonna save just one soul by sharing this video. So go out there and share the video. And if you're just joining us, go back and watch the replay, but you're not gonna be able to have the replay on this platform. You're gonna have the replay on YouTube, Rise to Greater Heights Network. Go out there, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so that you don't miss any video being posted over there. So we're gonna move to Johnny Casio right now. Johnny Casio is more than a coach or even a mentor. People hire Joe because they trust his expertise, advice, and savvy problem-solving skills. So Joe is on a mission to help thousands of people become self-reliant. He is a brown belt in karate, and he enjoys traveling. So kings and queens, in the interest of time, please join me and welcome Joe Nicasio.
Thank you, Riel, Dr. Riel. I want to start off by saying your brain can be your best friend and your worst enemy. Your brain can be your best friend and your worst enemy. You know, I grew up, my mom taught me when I was in school, sit in front of the class, ask lots of questions, you know, math classes, you know, it's like you want to be sharp on your brain and sharp on your toes. And I started some businesses. I started some other businesses. I made a bunch of money and I lost everything. I mean, I had bill collectors calling me every day. I mean, like 40 calls a day from bill collectors. It was messy. It was messy. And it was depressing. And, you know, you want to think your way out of situations. And I didn't really realize this at the time, but the racing brain, you know, the bipolar disorder, which is this manic and depression, the mania comes before the depression, because you get that racing brain and you're trying to use your brain to solve problems. The problem is that racing brain burns up the serotonin in your brain. Your brain can actually, it's a chemistry factory. And if you're burning up the happy chemical, serotonin is what makes you feel good and feel happy. But if you're using your racing brain, you know, you can burn up your serotonin. And that's when
I think we have lost Joe. I believe we've lost him. Yeah.
He was frozen right at a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
What next? What next?
I know. Yeah, we've lost him. So Jessica, if you can just please share with the audience how they can reach out to you, because I think you didn't share at the end while you are trying to get Joe. You can just share with the audience how they can reach out to you.
So I am on social media. I'm active on Instagram and Facebook. You can reach me there, or you can go to my website. So a couple different things about my website. You can go on there and request to be added to my newsletter. You can also send in a message to request. So if you want a free 15-minute chat with me, then we can set that up and I can help you with any questions you have or link you with any resources you may be in need of. And my website, I guess I didn't say that, just check my website. It's www.rosebudcllc.com, and that's my handle on everything. My @ is rosebudcllc for Rosebud Consulting LLC.
Awesome. I believe our audience will reach out to you as well as John, because they'll have to reach out to you because they need this. They just need that motivation, that push. Oh yeah. Okay, it's just, yeah, they just need that push really to get going, to face the world with a positive mindset. They need that. So what I will do, I'm just going to be the next speaker. Hopefully maybe Joe will join along the way. I'm going to be the next speaker, but before I speak, I'm going to share my bio and then I'll come back and speak.
Nonpumelelo Riel Kunene is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Les Brown international speaker. She is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. Riel is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective, inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes in a seriously funny way. Riel believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. Rial's book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. Rial Kunene wears many hats as a professional certified sales manager, CEO, strategist, certified travel counselor, trainer, esthetician, philanthropist, diplomacy protocol officer, international human rights analyst, and a commissioner for OAS. Following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalm 27 and 40. Keep her to rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Rial Kunene!
Thank you so much, amazing speakers. You know, I think John and Jessica Rose, they've just set the bar high for me. So I'm not too sure if I'm gonna be able to, to fit in your shoes. You know, I'm gonna try to fit in those big shoes that are in front of me. But before I continue, I always like double checking. I just wanna double check if I'm in the right platform here. How many of you with a raise of hand can say that, Rial, I have never, ever complained in life? Never ever complained in life. Seemingly I'm in the right platform, because you know, sometimes in life we go complaining about everything. Or the weather is really bad today, traffic was worse than expected, my family drives me crazy sometimes, oh, the movie was really disappointing, you name it. Though whining can be a way to build an inspiration, it can also keep us from acting, and it gives excuses time to procrastinate from achieving goals. One thing I've realized is that we usually complain in the wake of a negative situation. We tend to focus more on the problem than finding potential solutions. It's always much easier to complain than to find a solution. And individuals who whine on a regular basis, they're apt to have a bad health. So next time we'll find you complaining that, why do pizzas come in square boxes, yet they're round? And funny enough, they're cut in triangles. Does this sound like you? Yeah, please write this down, What are human rights? What are human rights? I know John, he mentioned some nuggets on how to overcome depression, how to get unstuck. And Jessica Rose, on the other aspect, she mentioned on how we can prevent suicide, how we can be that person who can just save that soul, how we can prevent suicide. And Joe, like he just got disconnected. I believe he's gonna share more nuggets on bipolar disorder. So I'm gonna share on what are human rights really. I know like this word human rights has been thrown here and there, but what exactly do you understand when someone says human rights? You can just put it in the chat box. I'll come back and check what comes into your mind when you hear the word human rights. Human rights, because human rights are the fundamental rights and freedom that are inherent to all human beings, regardless of your gender, nationality, place of residence, sex, ethnicity, religion, or even your skin color. Human rights are not just about the law. So human rights are non-discriminatory, meaning that all human beings are entitled to them. Good people, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life, but you have to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you'll have to get started to become great in life. So get started today. My everyday book says that you'll have to learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. So get started today. Get started today. Seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. Because we all have a voice, but not everyone knows how to use it. So as an advocate for human rights, I encourage change makers and educate them on the issues at hand so that their voices can be heard too. I work with different individuals in charge, listening closely before calling out issues that need change. So I serve not just as a vocal protester, but I also go one step further by encouraging these changes through education instead of merely telling government leaders why something needs fixing, which happens quite frequently. So to me, really, it was the death of George Floyd that made me to realize that we need to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear because of the color of their skin, and where the criminal justice system treats everyone fairly and equally. If you remember it very well, in May 25th, 2020, George Floyd died in police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This 46-year-old Black man was arrested and killed after a convenience store employee called 911 on Floyd's suspicion of passing a counterfeit $20 bill. The video that was captured by a bystander, it showed George Floyd pinned face down on the ground and in handcuffs, and one of the police officers kneeling on his neck as he was pleading for help. I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And finally, he fell silent. May his soul rest in eternal peace. It is so impossible not to be outraged watching that video of the Minneapolis officer pressing his knee against Floyd's neck for a period initially reported to be 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I believe that everyone is born free and no one should ever be subject to such unjustified violence. And hence I am here today to educate everyone to know their human rights. Try by all means, good people, to learn more about your human rights. So our organization really, it fills a critical role in the society by providing valuable services that governments may not always be able to deliver. From poverty relief to human rights advocacy, we are vital for supporting the most vulnerable members of our communities. So we are an integral part of society, and we're involved globally in human rights, climate change, as well as humanitarian aid. There are many ways in which we need to persuade the government, good people, in order for them to adopt human rights related legislations. So some of these include providing information for the general public through exhibits, side events, and formal speeches, or even lobbying officials during meetings and negotiations. You know, it's so funny how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful, beautiful name, Nompumelelo. Actually, I was quite impressed with John yesterday. He was like, he said my name like the way we say my name. I know many people, they always butcher my name, Nompumelelo. You know, Nompumelelo in my own language, it means mother of all success. So you can see that I am really, really challenged to chase after success no matter what comes my way. I'll have to chase after success. If I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve maybe in the next 6 months? Any dreams that you want to achieve maybe in the next 6 months? I know myself, I am one of those people. So I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. So as a human rights analyst, my purpose is to teach everyone about human rights and help organizations understand and promote human rights as well. So I also make a difference by bringing solutions and educating others. It was Barack Obama who once said, the future rewards those who press on. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. So you really don't have to be politically involved to learn about your human rights, good people. All human beings are entitled to them, and you can never, ever be excluded from your own human rights. Why? I'm glad you've asked that, because these are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. So as flight attendants always say that, put on your oxygen mask first before you assist others, because if you don't, you and the other person you're trying to help could possibly go down. So it's your time to gain more knowledge on human rights. It's a wake-up call, good people. But when that alarm clock goes off, please, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Just get up, get going, and make a difference. Be the change that we want to see in this world. Make a difference around human rights. Because remember that a right is a freedom of some kind. It doesn't matter where we were born or what kind of family we were born into. We all have the internal recognition of the moral quality of one's motives and actions. Nelson Mandela once said, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. this message really stirred something within me. So I am a true advocate for creating new policies that uphold human rights and prevent human rights violations from even happening in the first place. So I consult on policies and procedures related to human rights compliance. I also advise on best practices for implementing human rights programs, and I can also assist with audits of operations against international standards. I also do research and can also help draft human rights related policies on discrimination at work, harassment at work, diversity and inclusion, patients' rights, and many, many more human rights related policies. I have the duty of raising awareness of people's rights and providing solutions, because I believe that an essential thing in human rights is based on the principle of respect for the individual. So I work towards raising awareness and providing solutions, believing that the most critical thing in our species' right is based on moral grounds. Each individual deserves respect no matter what they do or who they are. I so wish that you can just tell yourself, good people, that you know what, I've had enough. I've had enough of these messages that have been shared with me today. All these amazing speakers have shared some nuggets on human rights. So you'd have to go out there and be the change and make a difference. But in order for you to go out there and be the change that we want to see in this world, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like the hungry lion in the jungle. That hungry lion in the jungle, really, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you are that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. And it's so funny because even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I am a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I see a lion, I'll have to run. I believe that that's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to make a difference in this world, because I believe that we all rise together and we all rise to greater heights. We rise by lifting each other up, not tearing anyone down. So that's the lion mindset that we need. You know, it's so funny, when I was in the 8th grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix bird, meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me. And it also aligns with my destiny. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature, it acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. I want to encourage you, if you are listening and watching under my voice, that when your world comes crashing down, wear your scars and show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside, and trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes, since the phoenix has to die, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. And I know you've heard this before, that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. So if I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your future, but here is one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that God has a better plan for every one of us. Your objective is what you were designed for and the reason why you live today. With God, I believe that we're all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gift and following God's idea will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach to your full potential. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this very moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, and what books will die with you? And the late Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the dreams, all the goals, all the visions, all the talents, all the skills have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me listening to all these messages, it gave me sleepless nights. And I am really proud today to introduce my book, Rise to Greater Heights. And by the way, Les Brown, the legend himself, he wrote the foreword in this book. This book is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. And I didn't stop there. Like how I've mentioned that the whole incident of George Floyd, it just made me realize that we need to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear because of the color of their skin, and where the criminal justice system treats everyone fairly and equally. So I decided to write my book, Human Rights, which are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. We were born with 30 Universal Declaration of Human Rights that we should be aware of. So human rights are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. It's your go-to book. And I didn't stop there. I know, we came together. I have like 6 books in total, and all of them are #1 international best-selling author, best-selling books. So we have Cultivate Your Mindset for Success, 17 different co-authors around the world. Resilience to Greatness. We've been trained and coached by Les Brown. So we decided to come together, 15 different co-authors around the world. We decided to write this book, Resilience to Greatness. And Equal in Dignity, 12 different co-authors around the world, because I believe that we are all born free and we are equal in dignity. And what's holding you back? Is it fear, procrastination, mediocrity, or distraction? What's holding you back? Kings and queens, it's so essential to assess your goals, progress. And I also have a free transformation guide for you. It's available on my website, www.risetogreaterheights.com. Because growing up, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. And thank God I missed that flight, because I'm still here, still sharing my message. And I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you so much, Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Nompumelelo Riel Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. Thank you so much. At this moment, I'm just gonna give Joe an opportunity to finish his message, because I know technology sometimes it can be against us. So Joe, you can go ahead and finish your message.
Well, I'm sorry about that. My fast internet for some reason just died. But I was telling you about Racing Brain, and one of the things I've learned is that depression. One definition of depression is anger turned inward. And we can't be harsh on ourselves. We need to have a little mercy and grace with ourselves. Lord, have mercy. So we need to stop the hurtful self-talk. One of the biggest pieces of advice I could give you is be the ideal, perfect, loving parent to yourself that you never had. Be that perfect, ideal, loving parent to yourself. Talk to yourself like a perfect, ideal, loving parent would. Don't beat yourself up. If we have failures, we need to recover from them. I have 3 tips. Number 1, go get help. There are mental health. One of the toughest days of my life was going into the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health saying, I need help. I'm having all these suicidal thoughts. Okay, I'm thinking about killing myself. They didn't call me suicidal. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is you get a weapon, 9 is you don't get a weapon. I didn't have a weapon, so they called it major depression. But there's a difference between a bipolar and a medically treated bipolar. If you get the treatment, it can bring you back. And one of the conversations was, you don't need money, Joe. The county has a vested interest in people walking through the streets with good mental health. So the help is here. They gave me a psychiatrist, they gave me counseling, all kinds of supports available. So if you need the help, please go get it. Number 2 is be that loving parent to yourself. And number 3 is, go out and bring in some money. One of the best antidepressant medications is a positive cash flow. When money comes in, cha-ching, money comes in, cha-ching. There's something about an endorphin boost about that. And so one of the blessings I had is I got a mentor, and I was blessed. I got to spend 7 years around Jay Abraham, the $30 billion man. And I got to learn all kinds of stuff about marketing. So there's 2 more final things I want to give you. Number 1, every master was once a disaster. Like no matter what disaster you're going through now, you can recover it. I no longer need to go to the Department of Mental Health because I'm better now. Okay. And after 7 years of treatment, you know what my psychiatrist told me? He says, Joe, anybody that went through the crap that you've been through would have been depressed. Okay. Sometimes life just serves up a crap sandwich. Okay. And so it can be depressing. There was suicide attempts. I had a family member hire another family member for assassination attempts. There were 3 attempts that failed, thank God, but there were courts and trials, and it shattered the family. Of course, you would be a little depressed when your family gets shattered through stuff like that. So number one is every master was once a disaster. And then the last point I want to make is, look, everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through something even worse than you, maybe even. And so go out and do a little service work. That's always good, because when you serve others, you realize other people are kind of going through even worse than you. And also, this is the last thing I want to share. Is it Bob Donnell? He said, imagine you're at a party and there's 100 people there, and somebody underneath their shirt, you can't see it, says, if somebody doesn't acknowledge me today, I'm going to kill myself. Okay. I want you to imagine every time you're in a room full of people, there's one of those people there. I want you to go connect, and try and connect and acknowledge every single person that you possibly can, so that you can acknowledge that person that might be having dark thoughts and may end their life on this earth, and they may end their contributions to humanity. There's a lot of freedoms, there's a lot of rights. There's a freedom of speech, but there's also a fear of speaking out. Fear of public speaking is one of the biggest fears. So what good is freedom of speech if you don't exercise it? I want you to go out and get economic freedom, go make some money. I want you to get geographic freedom, learn to run your life from anywhere you're at. I want you to get some time freedom, so that you're not your time schedule, you don't be owned by someone else. You actually can control your own time, and quit being in a career by default. Be in a career by design. Create your way of making a good living. Money at the service of others is glorious. Money at the expense of others is evil. Find something that lights you up, so that every day you say, I look forward to my day. I love what I do. I'm good at what I'm doing. I'm making a big impact. I'm a massive contribution to the clients I serve. And wow, I even make money doing this. If you love what you do, you'll have a happier life, and you won't get depressed near as often.
Wow. Oh my goodness, Joe, you've just dropped. I think technology didn't want you to share this much profound message. And thank God you managed to come back and look at you. You mentioned that it's all about doing something you love for yourself and others, sharing that love through your service and effective marketing. So technically, you mean that just do what you love. Do what you love. And you've shared like your journey on the bipolar disorder, on how, like, it's all about the mindset, because the mindset can shift you from doing things that you actually love, and the mindset can make you believe that you are what you are thinking. So we'll have to be very careful around the mindset. So thank you so much, Joe, for sharing your message with us. And good people, if you want to learn more tactics on how you can put every inch in your business that will work for your business, reach out to Joe. Apart from bipolar disorder, he speaks on different topics. So thank you so much, Joe, for sharing such a profound message. So at this moment, I will just let our speakers to share their final thoughts on their subject topic. And then I'm gonna go on YouTube and I mean on Facebook, and check if we have any messages or questions being posted over there. So John, you can just jump in and share your final thoughts and remind how the audience can reach out to you. And again, you can share your freebie, your complimentary with the audience. So you can go ahead and share.
Absolutely. And thank you again, Dr. Real. I love these topics. Human rights is such an important piece. I tend